Nobody's perfect. You'll hear this a lot. Your parents, teachers, friends, nobody's perfect. They could say this 1,000 times, it'd still never get through. Nobody's perfect. These words, instead of becoming reassurance over self-hate, become a joke. Nobody's perfect, and yeah, maybe that's true, but almost anywhere you look, you'll still see someone better than you. Because no, nobody's perfect, yet society still paints this image of what we should be. And unless you're lucky, it won't be what you are. Flat stomach, gapped thighs, visible collarbones. People these days are so engulfed by this image from society that we learn to hate who we've grown to be. We hate who we are because it's not what we should be. More so, what we're expected to be. But those so-called flaws, they're not something only you see. Everyone can see, which leads to the names. Loser, fag, fatty, freak, they're all more common than you think, and they almost always lead to worse. Worthless, pathetic, waste, alone. The words will strike you as a whip and haunt you as a spirit, constantly there, hurting you, playing in your head over and over again. As time goes on, you'll find there's more. More words, more hate, more pain. Eventually, you realize they're being spoken in your own voice. Stuck in a world full of bullies, you've grown to take their place and start hurting yourself, both mentally and physically. But they're wrong. They have to be wrong. If they weren't, then we wouldn't still be here. Yet, that dark cloud over your head just won't get the memo. You isolate yourself for fear that people will only add on to the mess in your mind. You end up surrounded by this feeling of loneliness. You've never felt more detached from the world, despite the fact that there are hundreds, even thousands of people just like you. They're crying themselves to sleep at night, just waiting for it to end. You try to comfort yourself with the idea, but it's hard being content with so much pain. So much that you'll start to question, what's the point? Suddenly, this idea starts an avalanche of hopelessness. You sit alone in the dark just wondering, what's the point? Part of yourself has given up, but the other, the stronger part of you, will fight. It'll fight against the questions, the ideas, and the pointlessness. It'll fight because depression is a war, a battle against yourself for yourself. With depression, every thought is a bullet, every movement a punch, every word a stab in the heart. To get through, you have to develop a strong enough shield. It'll fight because depression is a thief, stealing the light at the end of the tunnel, the rainbow after the storm. You'll have to take your happiness back. It'll fight because depression is a zombie. You're alive, but seem and act as if dead. You'll have to bring yourself back to life. It'll fight because depression is a nightmare, one where everything seems impossible to bear. You will have to fight because depression is a murderer. It killed the girl I used to be and has shaped who I am now. Depression won't let me see myself. I look in the mirror and I don't recognize what's looking back. Instead, there's a mess, a hideous, disgusting mess of a human being. But frankly, I'm not the only one with a disfigured reflection. People, the ones like me, they'll shove their fingers down their throats, forcing out the so-called flaws, or maybe just not eat to try and be what's deemed as perfect. But when they don't fit that image, they'll punish themselves. Taking silver to their skin, scratching at their wrists, just trying to get the monster within, they'll punish themselves for not meeting society's standards. We end up trapped here, scarred wrists, empty stomach, teary eyes. You have to realize that depression is a daily struggle to survive, not only having to deal with being insulted by those around you, but by yourself as well. You'll question, what's the point? The point is, nobody's perfect. And so, it comes back around. Nobody's perfect. Because maybe we don't look how we want, maybe our personality isn't what we think it should be, and maybe people aren't the kindest to us. But nobody's perfect. And so we have to deal with our imperfect selves and our imperfect lives because, after all, it's our imperfections that truly make us beautiful. Thank you.